The world at home.
Episode 2, To Say Goodbye. Hi everyone, my name is Angela. I'm your host today. In our episode, we will be tackling a hard topic alongside with Viviane, IFI's National Training Coordinator. She came from Rwanda as an undergraduate student and learned and joined IFI after her degree completion. In the midst of graduation season, she's here to share about her experience of saying goodbye and how has she processed grief. And I cannot wait to learn more about Viviane today. Welcome, Viviane.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming. And I'm very excited to have this conversation with you and just to learn more about you as well. I feel like our work don't usually overlaps, so this is a good opportunity for me to get to know you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here too.
Nice. Well, for starter, how long have you been in the U.S. and what was it like moving to here and the process and how did you end up in Columbus?
So I've been here since 2013. I came for school for undergrad in August of 2013. So this is going to be my 12th year this summer.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, time flies.
So how it was leaving home, it was two feelings at the same time. I was excited and I was nervous.
Yes.
And of course I was sad, especially saying goodbye at the airport. It was such an interesting event happening at the airport because I had a bunch of people coming with me. I had my parents, I had my uncles, I had my neighbors, I had my friends.
Neighbors too? Like the whole gang is there.
It was a lot of people. And my mom was wearing this very nice red dress and had her hair done and a lot of things happening.
Very formal.
It was. So some people like, so your parents are just excited to send you off like that? My dad was in a suit.
Wow. So that's like a formal farewell.
It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. There was going to be a wedding after they dropped me off. So my mom was going to be the maid of honor in the or the matron. They call it matron back home. So people were confused, like, oh, okay, you guys are making it a big deal. It was, but not to that degree. But so I was excited, but then I was sad. Of course, there was a lot of tears, saying goodbye. I knew I was going to come back home after 2 years, so that was going to be a very long time. But I was kind of used to that because I went to a boarding school since I was 12. So from age 12 to 18, I was in boarding school. So for me, I was kind of used to being away from home, but being in another country, that was something I was both excited about and nervous about.
So did you like the experience of boarding school? Do you think that helps you prepare what's here in the United States?
Very much, in the sense of being away from family, but being in the U.S., no, that's really different. It's a new culture, a new experience. I had to learn a lot of new things, challenges, but I think being in a boarding school kind of prepared me to to just be in a new environment and having to be on my own and be independent in a way.
Was learning English part of that too, or you already knew, like, was English a very common used language in Rwanda?
Yeah, so English is a national language.
Okay.
But we didn't really use it that much. In fact, when I grew up going to school, English was a subject. As part of everything else we'll be learning. So we're doing our schooling in French, like chemistry, math, all those classes they were taught in French and in my native language, Ikinyarwanda. So, but when I was going to high school, I remember going to school for the first day, and I knew they had changed everything to English. So it was really a big change. Now starting to learn everything in English, and so it was quite a challenge. So coming here, I could speak some English, but it wasn't that good because I remember I was doing architecture. So I remember one time they gave us an assignment and I did something completely different because I didn't understand. So English was a challenge for sure.
So what made you wanted to move here, like United States in particular? Like, what was that steps or process look like, you know, okay, United States of America is where I'm going to be?
So, that is interesting because I never really thought about coming to study here in the US.
Okay.
It just that an opportunity arose and I just took it. So what happened was when I was in high school, we had this thing they call combination. So the 3 years of high school, so far as it's 3 years.
Yes.
So you would choose 3 subjects to be your concentration or your combination. And for me, I was doing sciences, math, chemistry, and physics.
Oh.
So towards the end of high school, everybody will have to do a national exam.
Yes.
And for those who were in sciences and they scored high in the country, they were given scholarships, full scholarships to come to study in the US. So that's how it all happened.
Wow.
I never knew I was going to be among the top ranking in the country. I never knew I was going to get that scholarship. I already had my plans. I had applied to go to medical school in Rwanda, which I got into. But then I ended up coming here.
Wow. So medical school in Rwanda and architecture major in the United States. That's very two different things that you're expecting. What does that look like when you are here, you know, for a new subject that you're learning and leaving all your families behind, community-wise, and, you know.
So the experience after I got here. So there was this one good thing that happened. Two maybe. That helped me to adjust.
Yeah.
So the first one was I came with a group of people who were in the same program that I was in. So it was 7 of us. And we got a chance to meet before we came here. We went through the same process of applying for visas, going for interviews. So we had to do English exams and interviews for us to get those scholarships. So we got to know each other, preparing to come. And so I kind of had friends before we came. We even came on the same plane. We had the same flight.
Wow.
So
it's really together.
Yeah. So I didn't feel like I'm alone. Even the challenges I had, people were going through together. And also the school I went to is called California Baptist University. It was a Christian school. So they had a program that's similar to what IFI does. And we had people who were fully. Well, there were students, but they had a part-time job of taking care of international students.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, I think mostly was out of their heart, wanting to welcome us and take care of us. So that really helped me. It really helped me. When I came here, I didn't have to worry about where do I go and get beddings. Everything was already set up for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's like very good program, like very well taken care. You don't need to go to Walmart.
No, they did everything for us. They did the shopping for us.
Wow.
Well, they took us to see some shops around, showing us this is where you go if you need this and that, giving us a tour of the city. It was in Riverside, California. They would take us to Hollywood. So we arrived, I think, a week, 2 weeks before school started, and they just took time with us to help us, adjust and even during the whole time of being there, the 4 years, they were still there with us. So that was really helpful,
That's very nice. I feel like every school needs that program for international students.
It's really helpful for international students.
Yeah, so after you come here and you just share all these exciting things that you did with I would call them orientation leaders, kind of. What was that like throughout the semester? You know, how do you keep in contact with your family? Is there any point during your career or college life that you were like, I don't know what's going on? You know, are they the people that you usually tend to turn to and see communities and stuff?
So I think there is this thing that every person, international students or anybody who is away from their home, they go through, which is a cultural transition. There are stages and phases of everything you're going through. So for me, having those people, I like how you call them orientation leaders.
Yes.
Yeah, so they knew that was going to happen. For me and my friends, we didn't know, but for them, they knew. So they took time to teach us, tell us, this is what's going to happen. Right now, you're just excited, everything is new and great, but there's going to be a time that it's not going to be like that.
Yes.
Which really happened after school started, like I was telling you, having to struggle with understanding some assignments, and the American accent was still kind of hard for me to understand.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and just the challenges of that, it was a different education system. The way we're going to classes, assignments was really different from what I was used to. So going through that, of course, there are going to be times of feeling exhausted, frustrated. Things started to feel hard, and but then when it gets to the time of, okay, now I'm getting used to this, then you start to settle. So during that time, you asked me about connecting with people back home. I used to update them, talk to them very regularly, tell them this is new, send them pictures of things happening. We use WhatsApp a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. WhatsApp.
Yes.
So in
we
my
love the internet.
Yes. It was really helpful. So in my family's group chat, so I used to update them a lot, and we'll be talking. And at the same time, I had my older brother who also came around. He came to the U.S. a month after me, but he was in a different state. So that was kind of helpful for me to know, okay, I have somebody close to me.
Yes.
And he would come to visit me sometimes. I would go to visit him. So that was really helpful. Yeah. So, and something else I was going to mention is those orientation leaders. So we didn't really have a name for them. For us, they were just our friends. So I don't know, maybe that's a good way to refer to them at this time. So they took this time, and they took me and my friends in a room. It was during that time they knew that we were going to start feeling, we were starting to feel
when like the rush is wearing down.
So they took us, they put us in the room, they gave each one of us a paper and a pen, and then they said, think about your family right now. Write a letter telling them what you're going through.
Wow. So that went real deep, real quick.
Yeah, so therapeutic. So I started to write, and I would look around. People were in tears. It was so emotional. I think they saw how heavy things were going to be for us, so they wanted us to go through that. And just writing down our emotions and feelings at that time was really helpful. And what they did was they took those letters, they put them in envelopes, and they took them away. And after we adjusted and things started to feel normal again, they sent them to us in our mailboxes.
Wow.
And I remember seeing that letter, I was like, oh man, that was so hard. I'm glad things are better now. So that was really good, and that was really helpful. Yeah, and of course my family would check up on me, ask me how are you doing, and so that was really helpful.
That is a really great program. I feel like every university in the nation should have it. That's really cool. Is there, when you're checking in with your family, is there a tendency to only share certain type of news, or things that are excited, or when you're having a hard time? Because I feel like for me culturally, I tend to not share something that is hard. I feel like I am very far away. That isn't something that they can help me take care of it. So I would be like, oh yeah, this is the good thing that's going on. This is the exciting things I'm trying. This is something new that I'm experiencing. I usually wouldn't share, class is hard. I can't understand 50% of what they were trying to say, is that something that you kind of experience too, or what is checking in with family looks like other than pictures? And
so for me, when I was a student, so my communication with family right now is different since it's different seasons. So at that time, I will communicate to them anything I know they could understand. Of course, some struggles at school they couldn't understand, so I'll talk to them about those things with my colleagues. We came together, but I would just tell them, give them the the gist of it, so they know what's going on with me and how to support me.
Yeah.
And just knowing that they're there for me and they want to
Yes.
care for me, even though it will be from a distance. But I think
Virtually.
yeah. Yeah, those same virtual hugs and all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I was able to share with them everything, at least to the extent of things they can understand, and experientially some things they couldn't. So yeah, but I think I did share everything with them. Yeah.
Nice. So you just shared that you have these orientation leader that was, very well taken care of you. Has all these care programs throughout college. What was that like transitioning out of college? Either moving away from California Baptist or moving to Columbus for work. Like, what does that process of saying goodbye look like? Either to your college career or that group of friends that's very tight community for you.
Yeah. Oh, I also forgot to mention I had the host family. So the school also had a program where they would match international students with host families. So the school was really small, so it was easy to find a host family for all international students.
Nice.
Yeah. So I had a host family. I go to their house. Yeah. Maybe for July 4th. I would go and spend the night there, celebrate with them. They'll celebrate my birthday. So I kind of had a family there. Yeah. And so saying goodbye to them, it was really hard. Even today I still communicate with them. And yeah, they're still supporting me. They know what I'm doing with IFI. They support that. And the friends, we are still in contact. Of course, it's not the same as we'll be still together in person. But yeah, so it was kind of hard, but also good because when I was during that time when I was at California Baptist University, I wanted to go to do a master's program, which was in Pennsylvania. Yeah. And just knowing that I had that experience there, I was hopeful that I'll have the same thing where I went, which kind of happened too. Yeah. Because when I went there, I started to meet people on campus, and they had the same heart of welcoming internationals. It was a church actually. There was a church that will come to the International Student Center, and they want to be there for the students. It was not in a formal way, but they just wanted to be there. They would give us furnitures and everything.
That's really cool. That's very needed.
Yeah, during the first week, they called all international students at that. So the university is called Villanova University. So they brought us there. The church came, and the people representing the church, they said, "This is our church. We are giving away furniture. Everybody come and get some." And it was a lot of it. Wow. So yeah, that was helpful. And then I started going to that church, and they happened to have an international student group. Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was also informal. It just that someone had a heart to welcome internationals, and there was me from Rwanda. We had people from Nepal and India, I think, Malaysia. So it was just kind of a small group of internationals who go to that church. So I got to have that kind of a community again, and yeah, and then at school, of course, and so I didn't feel like I'm missing out on much like I used to have, because I was also having that community. Yeah.
Was that the same process after you transitioned from Pennsylvania to here in Columbus for work? Like, what does that look like?
So my transition coming here to Columbus, because, maybe I can tell a little bit how that happened.
Yes.
Yeah, when I was in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, I was also part of Bridges International, which is a ministry serving international students. And at the end of the year, they usually host a conference called Vision Conference. Yeah. So I went there, and I went there with some friends from church and from school. Nice. So I went there, and then there was this time towards the end of the conference, you will see people talk about what they do. And then I was walking through the room, and I saw a big banner saying International Friendship. So that's okay. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I'm
Cool to me.
international. We have international friends.
Yeah.
We all want to be friends. So
Nice.
I went and approached. There was a table with information. I asked, and it sounded really good to me.
Yes.
And at that time, I had 1 semester left in my master's program, which was about faith and culture. So I was like, wow, this is really great.
Yeah.
This is something I'm interested in
Yes.
doing and being part of. And I went back for that semester. I finished it. I started to apply to come for an internship program with IFI. So when I was done with school, then I came here.
Yes.
But this time was different because I was not a student anymore.
Yes.
I had received very good care from different people. So I was thinking, okay, now this is my turn to welcome other international students. Yeah.
So you kind of transition your role from receiving to giving.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So I knew that what I had received was really helpful for me. And then I think at that time I was already here for 6 years. So that was different from when I just came. And I knew some students are just arriving.
Yes.
So I wanted to be there for them and care for them just like I received before. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool that you get to use your experiences and what God has given you throughout all those 6 years and now to the students that just newly came. Wow. Okay. So we're going to shift gear a little bit, talking about still similar to goodbyes, but in a heavier way.
Ooh.
You know, in the same sense, saying goodbye, but in a deeper way about grieving. I know you shared with me a little bit earlier that you have lost your father about 2 years ago. And yeah, just tell us a little bit what that is like and how is processing grief, you know, from away from home looks like.
Ooh, so hard. So hard.
Yeah, it
Yeah. So, 2 years ago, that's when I got the news that my dad passed away. He was generally well, but one weekend he got sick. He went to the hospital. They discharged him, saying he's okay. He would text us in a group
Family
chat.
group chat.
Yeah, family group chat. And he said, oh, I'm feeling better. They gave me some painkillers and now I'm okay. And then all of a sudden, after a few hours, I got a call that he passed away. Like, wow. It was shocking. Yeah, it was shocking. And at that time, I haven't lost anybody close to me in my life. So it was all new to me. I didn't know how do you even grieve? What do you do?
Yeah.
But thankfully, also we're talking about community during the time. So at that time, I had been in Columbus for probably 4 years. 4 years. So in my 4 years in Columbus, I had built community at church, at IFI, just different places. So people came around me.
Yeah.
I think that it was in the evening on a Sunday. And after 1 hour, my apartment was full of people.
Wow.
Yeah. So just seeing people being there for me, they spent the whole night with me because I wasn't planning on sleeping.
Yeah, you know.
So I had people staying up with me, being there for me, just helping me, cheering me up because I can't cry the whole time. I had some friends just make me laugh and all of that. So it was hard being away from home, but also having people close to me to support me and help me. That was really good, and it helped me. Yeah, and something else that was helpful, I mentioned that I have a brother who lives in a different state, so he lives in Utah. So I had people with me that night, but then the next day I took a flight to go be with my family. So my brother, for him, because he was able to travel to go back home, but for me, for different reasons, I wasn't able to travel. So I stayed there with his wife and his 2 boys. So just being close to people and my family, that was also helpful. And so, and also something that was helpful when my brother went back home for the funeral. So he had a a company that does photography and videography and everything. So they were able to live stream the whole thing for me. So I feel included.
Yes.
So it was,
sure.
so it was really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, so you weren't able to go back in person for the funeral, but they live streamed for you?
Yeah, they did.
What does that feel like, you know, processing the grief with family in a distance?
Yeah, so that was really hard, especially that I was trying to be their support, but for them, they thought I was the one needing more support. One of the reasons being that I was the closest to my dad. I was an only daughter, and then there's this stereotype, which was real in my situation, in my case, that we're very close, and we're like best friends. So it was really hard for me to see a lot of people at home, and I'm not there yet. I'm supposed to be the one who was closest to him, so that was hard. And they wanted to make sure that I'm not feeling very left out, so they kept reaching out to me, just trying to be supportive in any way they can.
Yeah, their support is definitely what you needed for sure. I think a lot of times we're like, you know, we're fine. We try to give more, and then people were giving to you. You were like, oh, actually, I needed that.
Yeah, and then for me, I was trying to support them too, especially my mom and my little brother who were there when it all happened. I was like, oh, I can't imagine after going through that, because he just suddenly passed away when he was at home, when they were thinking it was okay. So I was like, wow, that must be hard to go through that. So I was trying to support them through that, but then everybody was concerned about everybody.
Wow, nice. That's really helpful. So you mentioned that they live stream the services for you. What does it look like? As your family share the same belief as you? What does your experience look like in helping them, or, you know, in any way when they're coordinating the services? I know for me personally, my half of my family come from Buddhist background. So when my grandma passed away, they were doing traditional Buddhism funerals. And I was away here as well. So I was like, I have never experienced this before. Like, you know, I don't know what's the most helpful way in helping someone go through that, but in a different religion, or just practices that I'm not accustomed to. What was that look like for you?
So for me, we are all Christians, but then also some of our beliefs are different with my family. But for that, for during that time, it wasn't something I was concerned about, because, well, so basically how it happened, there was a church service. They'll go for a church service, and then for the burial, and then before that there was a whole week people would just come for the wake at our home. So there was prayer. I think the challenge came afterwards.
Tell me more.
Because for them, they believe they can pray for the person who passed away. But for me, I don't believe I can pray for the person who passed away. When they have passed away, then everything is done. So I used to have this conversation with my mom. She would tell me, we need to pray for your dad. And she knows that I don't believe in that. But then I'm like, okay. I just wanted her to feel like she can do it without feeling judged by me, because that's what she believes.
Yes.
But for her, she couldn't understand how I'm not praying for him. Yeah.
So how does that conversation look like, you know, now, like afterwards, after the burial? You processing it together as a family, and you know, it's been quite some time. I'm sure like it comes up every year still, that you know, revisit the topic. What does conversation look like for you and your family now? So
mostly the conversations will be about things we missed about my dad. He was the most hilarious person. Every time he would be somewhere, he would be making everybody laugh. So it was really hard when we started having our group calls, because usually it would be him making everybody laugh, making a lot of conversation, funny. So when we started having those calls and he wasn't there, we just felt the absence really heavily. But with time now, it has started to come, and we have all been filling in the void. Well, we still feel it, but not that much.
Yeah.
So basically, we'll be just laughing about things he used to make us laugh about, and we'll be talking about something like, oh, I had a dream about him, and we miss him. But mostly, it's about good things we miss about him. Yeah.
Nice. I'm sure your siblings and you have inherited that genes as well to make places laugh.
Not as much as him. Not as much as him. He was such a, He was a really good person, and I remember during the funeral, people have speeches. There was a lot of people. Someone who worked at the cemetery said this is the most people I've ever seen at the cemetery.
Wow.
I think it was more than 3,000 people there.
Whoa. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah. He was a people person. He was everywhere.
Wow.
So many people he knew, so many. So, yeah, I don't think any one of us is that much of a social butterfly as him.
Yes. Yeah. 3,000 is not an easy number to achieve.
It was a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah, which is why I was saying it was kind of hard for me to see everybody there, and then I'm the one missing.
Yeah.
But it also made me happy to see that he had a lot of people he impacted, and they were there to say goodbye to him, and that I was also able to do it in my own way.
Yes. Yes. What are some of the ways that you have done in your own that processing and saying goodbye?
Yeah. So this is something that was helpful for me. Some people. Co-workers, they encouraged me, my supervisor and people who work in the Department of Staff Care at IFI, they suggested that I go do grief counseling. So to me, that was something I was not aware of that I can do. But I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, because this is a whole strange concept to me. Yes. I don't know, what am I supposed to do? How do I grieve? Yeah. So they encouraged me to go. I went for grief counseling, and when I was there, of course, I asked them questions about grieving. They helped me go through that. And they had an event that was really, really helpful for me. Because I missed the funeral. So for people to have closure, I usually have to do some kind of thing to help you have like closure.
Ceremonial thing.
Yeah, ceremonial thing. So at that counseling practice, they had an event for people who were going. So it's just a practice for people going through grieving. That's their focus. So they organized an event that is called, I think it was called Butterfly Release. Yeah. So you will write down the person you are grieving, their name, or if it's more than one person, and then they will prepare this very nice box that has a butterfly inside representing everybody. So went to this very nice chapel. It's called Chapel in the Woods.
Wow.
So you see a lot of families coming and they're grieving their person, and you bring people to go with you to support you. So I went there with a friend of mine, and so there was a service, there was prayer, there was a words of encouragement to those grieving, and then there was a ceremony where everybody took the butterfly with the people they're grieving, and then you will go look for a place that's going to be private for you within that space. It was in the woods and very nice. And then if you want to pray, if you want to cry, whatever you want to do, and release the butterfly.
Wow.
And you see the butterfly go in the sky.
That's beautiful.
So I was like, oh, this is really good. It helped me to have that closure that I needed. So yeah, that was really helpful.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would say suggest someone who might be in this positions of grieving, of saying goodbye with one another? Do you have any tips other than, obviously releasing the butterfly, which is very beautiful? Do you have any other things that you have done you find very helpful, and you would suggest others to do the same if they're in this process?
Yeah. So something nice that I learned from my my counseling sessions was everybody goes through grief differently.
Yes.
And on different paces. So I don't know if I can give a practical tip because that was what was helpful for me as a person. But just encouraging people to look at themselves and see what's going to be helpful for them. Also know that saying goodbyes can be saying goodbye to people you're going to see or people you're not going to see anymore. But the thing that was helpful for me the most, beyond just looking for things that are going to be helpful. Some people like to journal. I don't really like to journal.
Yeah, I'm not that consistent
yeah,
either.
So for somebody's journaling, for somebody's just having a friend you can talk about memories of your loved one who passed away. For some people, be just going in nature. So whatever is going to be helpful for them. But something I would say will work for everybody is looking beyond, having anticipation. So like for me, losing my dad, I just think about, I'm going to see him in life beyond this. And if it's saying goodbye to family, coming to study, something that used to be helpful for me is I'll be like, okay, I know I'm going to see them again during summer break.
Yeah.
So just having something good to look forward to and having that hope that it's not going to be always hard.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course having, allowing people to support you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for students who are considering coming here in the States and who might be hesitant in making that decisions? If I think a lot of times they were like you said, you were here but you weren't able to go home. Like, what if events like that had happened, or maybe missing some other family events? What's your tips or helpful guidance in that sense of a student who might be deciding coming to the U.S. or anywhere else outside of their country?
So I think it's about having the leap of faith and just getting out of your comfort zone.
You just gotta jump.
Yeah, you gotta jump. Of course, there are so many good things, but then there are challenges. But those challenges, like me, even you are a former international student.
Yes.
So many of us who have gone through that, we know there are, of course, challenges, but we eventually overcome them. But there are also so many good things, like learning about new culture and just of course education and other social experiences.
Yeah.
So I would say it's really worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, challenges in it all, it's really worth it.
Yeah. And I feel like that process might look different for everybody as well. You kind of need to go through that evaluation yourself of like logistically thinking, do I really want this enough? What's the trade-off?
Yes.
What would that look like after coming here? Yeah. Thank you, Viviane, for sharing all the process that you've been through and your experiences, and thank you for coming here today.
Thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to share about all of that. And I hope it's going to help somebody out there who will be watching this or listening to this.
Yes, for sure. I'm sure these are all good experience, and somebody, who's definitely experiencing something similar can use of this. And I'm excited that I got to know you a little bit more outside of our work context. So thanks for coming.
Same here. Thank you.
Looking for an international student community? Join our WhatsApp group or check out our website for an in-person location near you at ifiusa.org.
International friendships.